Ever wondered how a small Anatolian principality became one of the world's most powerful empires? Let's unravel the story of the Ottoman Empire. In the early 13th century, nestled in the northwestern corner of the Anatolian Peninsula, a small and relatively unknown principality began to take shape. This was the birthplace of the Ottoman Empire, an empire that would stretch across 3 continents and leave an indelible mark on the annals of world history. The founder of this formidable empire was a man named Osman I. Born into the Kai tribe of the Oghuz Turks, Osman I was a skilled warrior and an astute leader. Legend has it that Osman I had a dream in which a tree sprung from his navel, its branches covering the whole world. This dream, interpreted as a divine prophecy, marked the beginning of Osman's quest to establish a vast empire. Osman then laid the foundation for an empire that would last for over 6 centuries. After his death, the mantle of leadership passed on to his son, Orhan, who continued his father's legacy. Orhan was followed by a line of competent successors, each contributing in their unique way to the expansion and consolidation of the Ottoman Empire. Some of the most notable leaders include Murad I, who introduced the Dev-Sirme system, and Mehmed the Conqueror, who famously took Constantinople, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire. The Ottoman Empire was a dynastic one, with the throne passing from father to son. However, this succession was not always smooth. Fratricide, a brutal tradition of murdering all potential claimants to the throne, ensured that the empire remained unified and strong. The Ottoman Empire was more than just a geographical entity. It was a melting pot of cultures, languages, and religions. Its complex socio-political structure and military prowess made it a formidable power, respected and feared in equal measure. The reign of Osman I marked the start of an era that would change the course of history. From a humble beginning, the Ottoman Empire extended its reach far and wide. But how, you might ask? Well, let's unravel this historical enigma together. The Ottoman Empire, under the guidance of its visionary leaders, embarked on a series of conquests, bringing numerous territories under its umbrella. From the shores of the Adriatic Sea to the sands of the Arabian Peninsula and the fertile lands of the Nile River, the empire's borders expanded at an unprecedented rate. This territorial expansion wasn't merely a demonstration of military might, it was a complex interplay of strategic alliances, diplomatic maneuvers, and, of course, the allure of economic prosperity. Now let's talk about the role of Islam in this grand narrative. The Ottomans were devout Muslims, and their faith was not just a personal conviction, it was a state policy. Islam was the empire's official religion, and it played a fundamental role in both its internal governance and external relations. The sultans, as the caliphs, were the spiritual and political leaders of the Muslim world, and they used this authority to unify the diverse ethnic and cultural groups within their territories. The Ottomans championed the cause of Islam, promoting its teachings and traditions across their dominions. They built grand mosques and madrasas, turning their capital, Istanbul, into a beacon of Islamic scholarship and culture. This religious influence didn't just consolidate their rule, it also acted as a magnet, attracting regions and peoples towards the empire. But the empire's expansion wasn't solely driven by religious fervor. The Ottomans were astute politicians and diplomats. They forged alliances with powerful states, married into royal families, and even used trade as a tool of influence. This combination of faith and pragmatic politics made the Ottoman Empire a formidable power in the medieval world. The power of faith and strategic alliances worked hand in hand, propelling the Ottoman Empire to heights unknown. But, as we'll see in the next scene, governing such a vast, diverse empire was no easy feat. An empire isn't just built on conquests, but also on strong institutions. So what were the pillars that held the Ottoman Empire? The Ottoman Empire was held together by an intricate system of government and a formidable military structure. Let's delve into the heart of this empire and see what made it tick. The system of government was a unique blend of theocratic monarchy and meritocracy. At the top sat the Sultan, who held supreme authority. However, his rule wasn't absolute. He was balanced by a council known as the Imperial Divan, which comprised of viziers or ministers, who were often chosen based on their abilities rather than their lineage. This meritocratic aspect was rather rare for its time and played a crucial role in the empire's longevity. The administrative structure of the empire was equally noteworthy. The empire was divided into provinces, each governed by a provincial governor. Despite this decentralization, the empire maintained a strong central authority. The provincial governors were appointed by the Sultan and were directly responsible to him. This balance between centralization and decentralization helped the empire manage its vast territories effectively. The military, the backbone of the empire, was a well-oiled machine. The Janissaries, elite infantry units, were the Sultan's household troops and bodyguards. They were the first standing army in Europe and were known for their discipline, loyalty, and formidable fighting skills. Alongside the Janissaries, the empire also had a strong naval force which dominated the Mediterranean for centuries. The military was not just a fighting force, it was an institution that played a significant role in the empire's politics and society. The military's high status made it a desirable career path, attracting talented individuals from all walks of life. In essence, the Ottoman Empire's strength was derived from its system of government, administrative structure, and military organization. These institutions were not static, but evolved over time, adapting to changing circumstances, which contributed to the empire's endurance. The strength of the Ottoman Empire lay in its robust system and unyielding military. The Ottoman Empire wasn't just an empire, it was a force that dominated the Middle and East. At the height of its power, the Ottoman Empire stretched from Hungary in the north to Yemen in the south, and from Algeria in the west to Iraq in the east. This vast expanse gave the empire control over significant trade routes between Europe, Africa, and Asia, including the Silk Road and spice trade routes. The empire's reach extended far beyond its physical boundaries. It was a melting pot of cultures, languages, and religions. From the Arabic-speaking regions of the Middle East, the Berber territories of North Africa, to the Slavic lands of Eastern Europe, the empire's influence was pervasive. In these regions, the Ottomans introduced their systems of governance, administration, and law. They built schools, hospitals, and mosques, transforming the urban landscapes with Ottoman architecture. They developed infrastructure such as roads and bridges, which facilitated trade and communication across the empire. The empire's influence wasn't limited to infrastructure and administration. The Ottomans were also cultural influencers. They introduced Ottoman Turkish, a blend of Turkish, Arabic, and Persian, as the language of administration. Ottoman culture, including its cuisine, music, and art, spread throughout the empire, influencing local traditions and customs. But the Ottomans didn't just impose their culture on the conquered lands. They were also influenced by the cultures and traditions of these regions. This cultural exchange led to a rich and diverse Ottoman culture, which continues to influence the region today. The empire's religious policies also played a significant role in its dominance. The Ottomans were predominantly Muslim, but they were tolerant of other religions. They allowed Christians, Jews, and other religious communities to practice their religion freely, provided they paid a special tax. This policy of religious tolerance helped maintain peace and stability within the empire. The Ottomans were not just rulers but influencers who left a lasting impact on the lands they conquered. From architecture to administration, from language to law, the legacy of the Ottoman Empire continues to be felt across the Middle East and beyond. The relationship between the Ottoman Empire and Europe was a complex and intriguing one. As the Ottomans expanded their territories, they found themselves increasingly entwined with the European powers, navigating a labyrinthine world of alliances, rivalries, and conflicts. In the early stages of the empire, Europe viewed the Ottomans with a mix of fear and fascination. The Ottomans were a powerful and exotic entity at the gates of Europe, and their military prowess was a cause for alarm, yet their cultural and scientific advancements were also a source of intrigue. As the empire grew, so did its interactions with Europe. The Ottomans formed alliances with certain European powers, such as France, against common enemies. The Franco-Ottoman alliance, a cornerstone in the empire's European relations, was a diplomatic anomaly in a largely hostile Christian Europe. This alliance, based on mutual interests rather than shared values, was a pragmatic move that underscored the Ottomans' deft diplomatic maneuvers. However, the empire's relationship with Europe was not all roses. There were bitter conflicts and wars, most notably with the Habsburg Empire and the Republic of Venice. These were driven by territorial ambitions, religious differences, and trade disputes, painting a picture of a turbulent relationship. The Ottoman Empire's siege of Vienna in 1683 was a defining moment in its relationship with Europe. This infamous event, which marked the empire's territorial high water mark in Europe, was a turning point that would eventually swing the balance of power against the Ottomans. Europe's reaction to the Ottoman threat was transformative, leading to the formation of the Holy League, a grand alliance of European powers against the Ottomans. This collective resistance, coupled with internal issues within the empire, set the stage for a gradual decline in Ottoman power and influence. The shifting sands of diplomacy and warfare marked the Ottomans' intricate dance with Europe. Their relationship was a chess game of strategy and survival, a testament to the empire's ability to navigate the treacherous waters of international diplomacy in a world that was often hostile to its very existence. All great things must come to an end, but what led to the decline of this once mighty empire? As with all great empires, the Ottoman Empire was not immune to the ravages of time. The decline of the empire was a gradual process, set into motion by a series of internal and external factors that gradually eroded its power and influence. Internally, the empire was beset by a series of governance issues. The once efficient system of succession had become fraught with strife and power struggles, as sultans were often succeeded by their less competent sons. This led to a period of instability, with frequent palace coups and assassinations. Moreover, the financial health of the empire was in decline. The empire's reliance on war spoils for revenue became a problem as the pace of conquest slowed. Inflation soared, and the empire struggled to maintain its vast territories and military might. Externally, the empire was under pressure from all sides. To the west, the rise of Europe was a growing threat. The European powers, armed with the technology of the Industrial Revolution, were expanding their influence, often at the expense of the Ottoman Empire. To the east, the empire faced constant threats from the Safavids in Persia and other regional powers. These external pressures, combined with internal strife, created a perfect storm that the empire, despite its might, could not weather indefinitely. The empire's military, once the envy of the world, also began to falter. The Janissaries, the elite military corps, became more interested in political power than military discipline. They frequently rebelled and overthrew sultans, further destabilizing the empire. The once invincible empire was showing signs of vulnerability, and its enemies were quick to exploit these weaknesses. The empire began losing territories, and with them, its wealth and influence. The once invincible empire began to crumble, succumbing to a multitude of challenges. The final moments of the Ottoman Empire were as dramatic as its rise. The empire, which had once spanned 3 continents, began to crumble from the inside out. The decline was not sudden, but rather a gradual process that took place over the course of several centuries. The empire's downfall can be traced back to a series of events, all of which contributed to its eventual disintegration. The first of these was the loss of military power. The Ottoman military, once the envy of the world, had become outdated and ineffective. The empire's inability to modernize its forces led to a series of defeats, beginning with the loss of territory in the Russo-Turkish War of the late 18th century. The second blow came with the rise of nationalism. As the 19th century progressed, various ethnic groups within the empire began to demand independence. The Greeks, Serbs, and Bulgarians were among the first to break away, and others soon followed. The final nail in the coffin, however, was World War I. The empire, already weakened by internal strife and military defeats, made the fateful decision to join the Central Powers. The aftermath of the war saw the empire's territories carved up among the victorious allies. The empire's heartland, Anatolia, was occupied by foreign forces, and the Sultanate was abolished. Despite the empire's dissolution, the legacy of the Ottomans is far from forgotten. The Republic of Turkey, the successor state to the empire, continues to grapple with its Ottoman past. The empire's influence can be seen in the architecture, culture, and traditions of the regions it once ruled. In the end, the Ottoman Empire, a once formidable force, met its inevitable end. It was an end that came not with a bang, but with a whimper. Yet the echoes of its past resonate to this day. The Ottoman Empire, a once formidable force, met its inevitable end, but its legacy lives on. The story of the Ottoman Empire is one of power, resilience, and inevitable decline. From its humble beginnings in the early 14th century, this formidable empire carved a path of expansion that saw it dominate vast territories across 3 continents. Its early leaders, starting with the founder, Osman I, established a line of succession that would rule for over 6 centuries. The empire's institutions, military, and system of government were instrumental in its growth and supremacy in the Middle East and beyond. However, its intricate relationship with Europe and its leaders played a significant part in its eventual decline. As the centuries wore on, the empire grappled with internal conflicts, external threats, and a changing world, leading to its fall in the early 20th century. The Ottoman Empire, once a beacon of power and influence, had its last moments steeped in struggle and change. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the annals of the Ottoman Empire. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments below.